How we all doing? Are you guys getting a ton of value out of this? This is just phenomenal. The $5 strategy, by the way, is just one of those techniques that it's like the way to scale, the way to find yourself to scale. So that was amazing with Chris's speech. And guys, I'm going to switch gears a little bit on this. We're going to talk about something a little bit different than necessarily Facebook ads or Facebook marketing. We're going to get into the mindset of a different way to make money and build a list. Because ultimately, you guys, that's what everybody's been saying, right? You got to build a list. Build a list, build a list. But what are we not doing sometimes? We're not really focusing on building a list. But one of my mentors, and I speak kind of fast sometimes, so I do apologize if I do. I'll try to slow it down a little bit. But one of my mentors said, whatever you focus on happens, right? So whatever you're actually focusing on, it actually happens. And someone's going through my presentation here. Awesome. So my goal today, and by the way, would you guys like all these slides that I'm going to go over today? Because I'll hook you guys up with all the slides. I'll hook you up with the notes on all the bullets. You guys will be able to take all that home today, so regardless if you take notes, I hope you take notes, but regardless if you don't, you'll get access to my blueprint. Really broken this down like to 3 simple steps, 3 keys that you should focus on in order to successfully launch a product. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about me. It's not always just the beginning, just so you guys know who I am for the people that don't know who I am or have never met me before. Just to kind of let you know, the struggle is real. The struggle always starts somewhere. There's places that you have to start, wherever that is, like ground zero is ground zero. The idea, though, is that you just get started. You start focusing on these things to make yourself move in the direction that you want to see. You can literally... I'm really big on talking about just doing the life by design. So if you start designing things, you start putting it out into the universe, and then you start taking these steps that your mentors teach you how to do. Because these mentors, these guys like Chris Record, they've made the mistakes. You don't need to go through trial by error. You can go through someone else that's made trial by error, and you literally can hack the system. And that's literally what we'll go into. So last year I did $3.4 million in sales. That was in almost 100% in affiliate marketing, not completely though. I actually came from the insurance industry before this, which I'll get into in a minute. We're actually still own an insurance brokerage firm, and we've done about $700,000 last year. So that minus the $3.4 million was the total sales revenue that we brought in last year. And this, like I said, in this presentation though, we're going to talk about how it all got started, and then we're also going to talk about the 3 keys to a successful launch. Okay, so here's a little story about me where I came from. I came from the insurance industry, worked for a Platinum 400 company where we sold supplemental benefits and insurance benefits to union workers. Okay, started out doing that, did really well with it. It was a big company, was making 6 figures a year, was driving a nice car, was living kind of a pretty cool lifestyle. But after reading the 4-Hour Work Week, you guys heard of that book? And can anybody tell me, what was the number one thing that you guys got out of that book? Outsourcing, right? Outsourcing. That book literally changed my life. It had something in my brain just turned on and said, gosh, I'm working these 80 to 100 hours sometimes, coaching people, selling insurance to families, recruiting people at night, recruiting people in the day, doing coaching calls with the people that I worked for or with. And I realized that wasn't the life for me. Even though I was making good money, I realized that was not the direction that I wanted to continue to go. I wasn't passionate for it either. So I had to make a change. So after reading that book, I think there's a chapter in the back that says, don't make drastic decisions right away. Like let yourself soak the information in, bring the information into you, and then make a decision, right? But not me. I read the book in like literally probably 4 or 5 days, couldn't put it down, and then it was just that blueprint about how to outsource just literally blew things up for me. So the next day, my now wife, my girlfriend at the time, I was like, Akumi, we have to follow our dreams right now. We have to go. She's like, what are you talking about? Like she worked with me. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, I want to move to San Diego. Let's move to San Diego and let's just start over. And she's like, okay, fine. She's just followed me to the moon probably. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's go. Let's pack our stuff up. All of our friends, we lived in Las Vegas, packed all of our stuff up, packed it all into a U-Haul, and then got on the road, just started driving down the road. And then you know what? I fell into hard times, guys. I was working for a company where I had systems that were in place that would help you be successful, regardless if they were good systems or bad systems. They were systems that made me go to work every single day, systems that made me talk to every single person, and systems that helped me recruit more people into the business to help us grow. So I went on for that part, and then went there and I was like, what do I do? I was really good at that type of business. So I did start doing some insurance and stuff like that in California, got my California license and all that stuff, but it just struggled hard. I mean, I couldn't pay rent. I was calling grandpa and grandma up, calling my dad up, calling my mom up, calling everybody I knew to give me $500 so I could pay rent. I could barely even afford the dollar menu at McDonald's or the Taco Bell menu, 59 cents, 49-cent tacos. You guys slapped those things together before? I mean, I'm telling you, that's how broke I was. They had a taco or a burrito supreme. I made my own burrito supreme for under $1. Oh, go back. So I went from making 6 figures a year to making less than $7 grand that next year. So if you can imagine, that's pretty tough on anybody, really, their lifestyle, everything. I had the repo man literally like driving around the block, trying to call me. The only people that were calling me were bill collectors. Okay, I was like $59,000 in debt. It was scary. So went there. So during that time, you guys ever been where who here can relate? Raise your hands. Have you ever been to a point in your life where you're like, I need to do something. I need to make a change. I'm just fed up with the way things are going. Anybody here? Awesome. Well, it's because we're all entrepreneurs. Right there, we're all entrepreneurs. We've all had this situation in our life where we hit rock bottom, and then we had to make a change. And it came out that were the next, those were actually turning points. Those were actually us growing. Those were actually us, going from point A, where I'm trying to get started, and get to point B, get to point C, but we had to start mapping these things out. And so I started following, at this point, all the greatest internet marketers that I could find. Okay, I went out and I found Matt Basak, and I found Russell Brunson, and I found Frank Kern, and I found Andy Jenkins, and Mike Filsame, and Chris Record. Okay, I just started following these guys and going, hey, like, what can I do to start doing? Mike Koenigs was in San Diego. I started watching his stuff. Right, I was all over. I was glued over everybody that was actually being successful. And there was guys that were teaching back then. It was 2007 is when I actually quit, and then started my brokerage. So in-house, we started a brokerage, lived in a little 800 square foot home in San Diego, and from there, just started recruiting agents. I built like this whole presentation, this whole sales system, and then I put it online. I was one of the first brokerages at that time to do it. And so Google, it's a little bit more tough now, but Google back then would reward you, and you would get, I had great SEO reach and ranking for my stuff. So I started building this little list of insurance brokers directly at that point. I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was starting to go out and sell insurance and masterminded and recreated this whole thing. I created my own niche online before a lot of these big insurance brokerages that are out there were even doing it. And because of that, I was able to start capitalizing for doing that. So I got fed up, and then I started getting some traction with the insurance business. Okay, I didn't know anything about internet marketing quite yet. I didn't know anything about affiliate marketing yet. I didn't know anything about launching products yet. At this point, I had no idea how to do it. I just wanted to follow systems from mentors that were going to teach me, and that's exactly what I was able to do. So I got some traction from there, and then I got terribly bored, right? I mean, Andrew, we were talking about how great is it to sell insurance every single day to the same person. It's one of those things that it puts you to sleep. It's seriously boring, and I was passionate, but that just wasn't where my passion belonged to. I mean, could you imagine talking about death every single day in your life? It definitely wakes some things up for yourself, though, right? Like, how do I build a legacy? How do I keep going on with my life? How can I leave something behind? How can I bring and put my debt into this world, or put a dent into this world? And so I got terribly bored talking about death. I mean, it's just one of those things that's boring to talk about, but it's unfortunate. It's one of those things we all have to deal with, and if we don't face it, unfortunately, someone else will. So I definitely, that's the one thing about life insurance that I'll kind of teach you. But being that I got bored, I was like, who can I start following? One guy I heard about was Russell Brunson up in Boise, Idaho. And I went up to Russell, and I went to an event with him, and it was an awesome event. And at the end, I got to talk with Russell, and I said, Russell, I'm really bored with what I do. I want to start doing internet marketing. What can I do to start doing internet marketing? And he gave me one piece of advice that I want to share with you guys. because some of you might be struggling, like, what am I going to do? What's next? How can I implement some of these things? How can I implement some of these strategies into my business? And he didn't really know what I did, but he said, do what you're good at. I was like, what do you mean, do what I'm good at? What do you mean, do what I'm good at? He's like, and do it online. He had no idea what I was doing. He knew that I was in a niche outside of the internet marketing sphere, and he said, do what you know, do what you're good at. So that's exactly what I did. I went and I took myself and I took the insurance, I took my brokerages, but then I decided I was going to build a product that taught people on a massive level. Not just people that were inside of my business, but people that were outside of my business. And so you guys heard of give a man a fish, he lives for a day, teach him how to fish, he lives forever. Well, how about if you could learn how to fish with a net? Okay, because usually most of us are just fishing with a pole, right? We're all just fishing with a pole, fishing with a pole. Well, the internet allows you to fish with a net. So literally that's what I did. I said, okay, cool. I have this very small list. I know how to do some SEO stuff. I'm going to teach myself how to get on camera and how to get in front of the camera and build a little studio in my house and stuff like that. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and build a course. Okay, and we're going to get into that today, exactly how to build a course and how to launch a course today. So you guys excited about that? Cool. So I made my first product in 2013, and I also made a conscious decision to do this full time, okay? Because before I was just dabbling. Before I was doing insurance, and I was just dabbling in it. But then I decided to totally immerse myself. Anthony Robbins says if you want to learn how to do something, you've got to immerse yourself into the business. So that's what I did. I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. Nobody knows me. I don't really care. I'm just going to immerse myself, take 2 steps in, and just plant my feet. Here I am, okay? Made that decision. Went full time. Getting used to this clicker. You know what's kind of cool about this clicker, I noticed, is you can do this. So anyway, I made my first product, 2013. It's called finalexpenseprogram.com. Not huge sales. But it did do $6,000 in the first year, which was pretty cool. It's still up there. It still gets, like those keywords I own, period. I own those keywords on Google. And, you know, it was more of a learning experience. And I'll tell you guys the story that went into it real quickly, too, which is kind of interesting. So my wife, Ikumi, she's in the insurance industry with me, okay? And she's really good at it. She was one of my best students, in fact. And she was like, I want to do these videos with you. I was like, cool. Well, she was pregnant the whole time we did these videos, and it was so funny because we had the camera on us, but she's like, okay, can you just like lift it a little bit up, you know, lift that camera just a little bit up, because, you know, she had the belly going on right here, right, if you can imagine. And so she did these whole videos. You have no idea if you've seen them that she was pregnant the whole single time. And then the day we did it was March 20th, I can't forget, March 20th, 2013, we launched the product. But guess what happened the day that we launched? She was birthing a baby, okay? So she birthed our kid that day. Well, it started that day, and then we crashed the server, okay? So we actually crashed that server on that day, and there was nothing I could do. There's absolutely nothing I could do to help out. That day, we crashed the server, and we still made $6,000, which was pretty cool. And I had a list of only 1,000 insurance marketers. I didn't have a huge list. I don't think $6,000 is a lot of money today, but at that point it was actually kind of nice, right? It was kind of nice that it could come in based off of my information that we were able to build. And we've got tons of people that love the system that we put together. So interesting on that, you know, kind of a thing that, you know, being pregnant and doing it was pretty cool. So then what I did after that is I started to attend more events, okay? You guys have probably heard everybody say, go to events, go to events, go to events. How many connections? Have you guys made some new connections since you've been here today? Yeah, totally, right? So go to more events. Those connections with those same mindset type people will grow. You guys are planting seeds right now that are going to grow into something massive. You know, every one of us are. And those connections that you will make are lifetime connections because, again, we're all buzzing on the same level. We all have the reticular activating system. Has anybody heard of that? Cool. So that, for the people that haven't, what the reticular activating system is, there's scientific proven knowledge that we all buzz on the same frequency. And it's an antenna that actually proves that we're all actually thinking the same thing. Have you guys heard of critical mass? okay? And just so the ones that haven't heard about it, they did some studies in Japan where a group of monkeys were throwing yams in the ocean, okay? They threw the yams in the ocean, and then they would bring them in, they'd eat them. Why would they do that? Well, it's salty. Well, after the one colony of monkeys that did it, they found out that all over the world, the same type of monkey species was starting to do the same thing. There was no way they could communicate with each other, they could do it. So that's what critical mass is, and that's what that reticular activating system is. And that's just something I just want to share with you guys, that we're all buzzing on the same level. We're all entrepreneurs. We all want something going in the direction of success, and we want to see each other be successful. That's the other thing you're going to get from events, is that you're going to hear something that someone else is doing that you've never heard, a strategy or a method that you've never heard that they're crushing at. You would never have had the opportunity to meet that person if it wasn't for going to an event. So I started going to an event. And the first event that I went to, and you know what's so funny, and I'll get into that in a minute actually. I went to my first event. It was a JV Zoo event. It was a little over 2 years ago right now. And then Chris Record was there. I kind of briefly met him. I didn't really get a chance to meet him there. But then right after that, I started geographically looking, where is everybody? And this was 2014. That wasn't that long ago. I started geographically looking, and I said, where is everybody at? And Chris, I found out that he was in Sacramento. He was right outside of where I live. I live in South Lake Tahoe, and he was right outside of there in this community called Roseville. And so I started reaching out to him. Chris was known as the Facebook guy. He was doing really well on Facebook, and I was like, hey man, I live like not too far away. I didn't give him exact geographic because he probably would have been like, well, that's 2 miles. That's 2 hours away, or 1.5 hours to 2 hours away. So I was like, hey man, I live not too far away from you. I know a little bit about Facebook ads. I know a little bit about WordPress. I know a little bit about building funnels and online marketing. I've got a couple of my own products and projects in place going on right now. Would love to come into your office and just see what you're doing. And then Chris, he qualified me a little bit. He's like, well, what do you want? Like, how is this going to work? I was like, Chris, if things work out, I'll work for free. Okay, I'll work for free. I will use my time. I'll drive there. I'll work for free. And if it works out, great. So Chris said, all right, cool, man. I made it really easy, right? I made it super easy. Once I had the contact in, I made it super easy for him to say, come on in. We'll see how it goes. I won't promise anything, but if something great happens from it, we'll just continue to build it from there. And that's like a little secret. I kind of hacked into Chris's office by doing the by just simply, getting in contact with him, making it terribly easy, so easy that he couldn't say no. I had to make him an offer he couldn't refuse. So we got in there, and so I hacked my way into his office, and then later on that year, I launched a product called Now Driven, and Now Driven is a CRM app and online app for basically managing your contacts and your databases with your clients. If you're doing local marketing or if you're doing insurance and stuff, that's what I built it off of. So we did it. It wasn't a huge launch. It wasn't necessarily falling into the internet marketing scale, which is where I was actually marketing it the most. But it does create reoccurring revenue, and it did like $12,000 the first year. So during that time, I helped Internet Marketing Bar, which was the name of the company at the time. I helped them launch, and I got behind a lot of products with Chris. First I observed them for a while. I got involved with them as much as I could. And then when a couple of Chris's last couple of launches, it was like, hey, I don't know, it's just something that was like, we were trying to figure out where I belonged. And it just seemed like I'd already been making a lot of connections in the internet marketing space. It just seemed natural to be a JV manager. And so Chris was like, yeah, well, you should be a JV manager. Let's do it. And we kept thinking about like because I would go to these events, and I swear, I would feel like nobody would remember who I was. I would go, hey, how you doing? I'm Karl Schickert. And everybody would say, no one would remember me because, how do you remember Karl? And then also, how do you remember Schickert? You can't even pronounce it. You can't even spell. I don't even know how to spell it correctly half the time. So the shark was an older nickname that I had. When I was in the insurance industry, I did really well. So one of my nicknames was Kark Sharky. Kark Sharky was what turned into the shark. So if anybody was ever wondering why do they call him the shark, now you know. So last year was successful, right? We went the year before that. I just donated my time. I helped Chris launch Dark Post Profits. Helped him launch Smart Member, helped him launch a few other products that are out there, and also helped him set up 3C events and stuff like helped him and Peter and everybody else that was in the office get it going. And so from there, we started. Oh. Sorry, guys. What's that? Oh, yeah. Pat me down, take my stuff.
It's going to make a really interesting picture on the internet.
Cool. So, yeah. So I decided to be a JV manager. And then last year, Chris was making some big changes in his life, too. He started Techademics. He started doing all these things, moving and stuff like that, and I wasn't ready to move. So I just said, you know, I'm going to branch myself out and start doing product launches with some other people that I knew. So last year I launched all kinds of products. So some of you guys probably seen me on some of them. I did all the JV videos. I got all the JVs riled up, put them all together, and we'll talk more about how to do that in a minute. But just got it going and just started escalating from there. And it's amazing, guys. Could you believe that? Like 1 year's growth. Right there, 1 year's growth took our company to $3.4 million. So during that time, or I think I already went there, going backwards for some reason. So since then, also I started a TV show, which it's on Prime now. It's called SharkBites.tv. It's called SharkBites TV. So if you ever get a chance, check it out. I interview entrepreneurs. It's free. It's on. As long as you have Prime, you can watch it. Also, I'm building cool software, Shopify related, SEO, and WordPress related. That's pretty cool. And then I currently reside in Lake Tahoe, and this is my wife Ikumi and my daughter Madison, and this is like literally my world. All right, so that's a little bit about me. I just want to do, again, this isn't about me really. This is actually about you, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction of who I am and where I came from, and like really the struggle, right? The struggle was real, and then getting into actually seeing success. But it all started with that idea. It all started with deciding to make a change. It all started with just doing, okay? Once you have an idea, it's all about, after you guys pencil out your ideas, the one thing I want you to write down is speed of implementation, okay? How long is it going to take me to start failing even? Start failing so you can start learning what do I need to adjust. So speed of implementation is huge. A lot of people, we get in the way of this, right? What is this? This is myself. I'm getting in the way of myself right now, and I'm keeping myself from being part of what you are truly designed for. You guys are designed and ready for greatness. Some of us struggle to figure that out, get past ourselves. Some of us want to be perfect at everything we do, and so we're so worried about how we look or how things are going to be seen or perceived. Who really cares? Just put yourself out there and then learn from it. Step back and say, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Build off my strengths, kill my weaknesses, outsource them, okay? All right, so 3 keys to a successful launch. So I've broken this down to 3 things that you absolutely need and want to focus on. There's 3 keys, and this is something on any market. It's not just the markets we're going to talk about. The first thing you want to think about is product development. Okay, so you got to come out and say, what kind of product could I get into? You got to figure out your markets and stuff like that. The other thing is building and crafting a high converting offer. Okay, once you have a high converting offer, then you can send traffic to it, right? Once your offers are actually starting to convert, you can send that type of traffic to it. And the other thing is recruiting affiliates. When it comes to product launching, you absolutely want to think about that, because you guys might have heard people talk about there's different types of traffic. You have paid traffic, you have SEO, free traffic, and then you have traffic that you own, but there's a fourth traffic. There's traffic that other people own. And other people have a list that loves WordPress products. They have a list that loves Shopify products. They have a list that loves e-com products, right? There's those people. There's people that have blogs that have huge followings. There's influencers that have huge followings. Part of their business is nothing but affiliate marketing. They are constantly looking for those products that they could send their list to, because then they can start monetizing their list. And you guys have also heard where they say that, for every person on your list is worth $1 a month. Well, it's actually more. if you know what you're doing, if you know your business. It's like $3 to $5 a month on average. So let's talk about product development. So first, you need to know your market. Okay, you need to understand what market I'm in. There's a lot of different markets out there. There's a JVZoo, market. There's a ClickBank market. There's a Warrior Plus market. There's a ClickBetter, a ClickSure. There's a Techademics market, right? There's a lot of different markets, so you need to understand your market. And also to kind of go into it more is you could focus on doing software, okay? We'll talk more about what software does. You could be an info, make money online, BizOp, or MLM, okay? Then you got to think about how can I scratch that itch? What is the one thing I have issues with? What's the one thing that I wish I could automate better? What's a little bit of information I've learned that I want to pass on to someone else? I call it passing the torch. When you have information, you should be passing that torch on to the next person. One thing that stuck out to me when Chris started this thing yesterday was he said, start teaching. Become the teacher, don't be the student. It's true. You actually learn more. It was in the seven Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey. It talks about teaching. So teach people. That's a product, by the way. Every time you actually, and I'll tell you guys, I'm going to show you guys some easy methods, but every time you get yourself on a video, you could turn it into a product, You could actually if you guys have a collection of videos, you could go to YouTube or wherever you're carrying them at. You go to rev.com, and you could transcribe the whole thing and put it behind lock and key, or you give it away as a lead magnet. Put it behind lock and key, create it as a lead magnet, and you start building a list right there because you have some information that you've learned. All the information you've learned today, you could actually cap it up into a little bottle and then sell it. And it's free information, but a lot of people will pay for it. Actually, information, we'll actually pay more money for information than just about anything else in the world because we want that information, right? We want to know what we could do better, and we want to learn from people that know how to do better. So you have to have that USP, that unique selling proposition. Your product needs to solve a big problem, and it's either money or time. That's why I love software so much personally, is because software either automates things, which saves me a boatload of time, or it actually it helps me make more money. Because one, if you're saving time, you're making more money, right? You could actually spend more time doing the things that you're good at, or it makes more money. Like literally, it makes more money. Come on. Okay, so what do people like? What do people like to buy? Let's talk about that. We've got DIY, do-it-yourself type stuff. So that's like informational stuff. I want to know how to build cabinets in my house. Maybe, remember we were talking about earlier about, for me, it was insurance. So I did what I knew best. I created a product on what I knew best. So I have a do-it-yourself insurance course that you can go and learn how to sell insurance. We have a do-it-with-you, and we have a done-for-you, okay? People eat this stuff up all day long. They love do it yourself, do it with you. That means they're going to do hands-on approach, teach you, be over your shoulder, teach you how to do it, and then they have done for you. Also, you have to take the complexities out of this stuff away. It is sometimes can seem like it's a little bit complex, but you got to make sure that it's easy to understand and convince what the pain and what the struggles would be, right? So if we understand the pain points, then we understand what the pleasure points are. And most of the people here, you guys are all internet marketers, you guys are all info marketers and entrepreneurs. So we are driven by pleasure. But 85% of the world is driven by pain. So your message needs to convey and convince pain more than it's going to convince pleasure. Just to give you some more keys there. Understand your market. So how do you understand your market? Well, who all here is on a JVZoo list? Anybody? Most of you, right? Well, actually probably a good 60%. How many of you guys are on a ClickBank list? The other 60%. Or you guys are really paying attention. What I do is I want to be on not everybody's list. Sometimes at this point I'm starting to pull myself off. But for a while, I just wanted to get on lists to see how, not even to buy their product. I went on there to actually see how they were marketing themselves. I wanted to see how their affiliates are marketing them. I would read all their email swipe. You guys know what email swipe is? Okay. Whenever I say something technical, just say technical, and then I'll re-explain. So email swipe is sales copy. I don't know why, I don't have any idea who came up with the word swipe. I guess because you could just swipe it, take it, swipe it, put it in your pocket, reuse it. So that's what I would do, is pay attention, is like, what does that sales copy look like? I would read it. I would record myself so I could see was I going through some kind of emotion while I was being pulled through that sales message. These are all things I recommend doing, especially if you want to learn this business. And then the other thing is, I want to make a product that is built for JV's list. So that way when they sell it, it converts well for them, right? So if they sell it and then it converts for well, it's a win-win-win when you create a winning scenario. And that's what I'm going to show you guys, continue to show you guys here today. So the first thing on product development, if let's say you have a software idea or an info product idea, and you can see up there I wrote wireframe your ideas. Does anybody use wireframes at all in here? Got a couple, okay. Wireframe.io is one of them that I use, okay. Wireframing is one of the best ways to create an idea, to create a product. Anybody here use like those brain maps? Anybody else use brain maps? Cool. You guys like them, by the way? I mean, like live by them sometimes? So anytime you want to create a product, you have to design. You have to start with the end in mind, okay, when you're building it. So if I'm building an info product that's going to teach people how to do Facebook ads, I need to map out every single ad type on that wireframe. I know that seems a little bit technical, but you want to build the picture. You want to build like the frame out picture of what it's going to look like before you do it. The other thing is, what's the number one thing you got out of the 4-hour work week again? Outsourcing. This is the number one thing, guys. Outsource what you suck at. Because I suck at a lot of things. But I have 14 people that now I work with that do all the things that they like doing. I'm not necessarily good at, they're good at. And they like it. They enjoy doing that stuff. So you can go to Upwork, you can go to Freelancer, you can go to Fiverr. If you're building software, you're going to look for someone that's like a back-end developer that can literally like manage it. You're going to look for project managers. You're going to look for graphic designers. Who here has a graphic designer? 2, 3 people. Are you guys in print on demand? Yep. Awesome. So yeah, how hard was it to find a graphic designer? Was it really tough? No, it was easy, right? So you can go onto Upwork, and let me just quickly, I'm gonna quickly phase into an idea that just popped in my head. You wanna know a good way to hire good people? Wanna know my trick, my secret? I don't hire one person to do that one job. I hire, yeah, she says 5 to 10 people. You've heard the old saying, the cream rises to the top. I hire 5 to 10 people, and then I also do a working interview with them. You know how many people just want a job? So I want them to prove themselves to my company if they're actually going to be the ones that I want. So instead of hiring one person, think about how much time you would spend if you just constantly hire one person. You hire one person, and then you see what they do, and then like a month down the road, they just quit doing what they're doing. You spent all this time with them to get them to where they're at. Now they can't even do what they're supposed to do. So instead, hire 10 people. Tell them this is a working interview, put them all on Skype, all together, all at the same time. Do a coaching call with them one time. Say, this is the product I'm looking for, this is my niche, this is what I want to do. And as soon as they come back to you, you're going to know right away if they are going to work with your company. Not only that, but you're going to be able to see if they communicate well with you too, because that's so important as well. And then you can hire, and you know what, if you find 3 people, cool, hire the first 3 you liked, and then a process of elimination will take over the rest. That is one of the fastest hacks to hiring people. I was at a high-end mastermind recently, and a lot of people struggled with hiring. And luckily, because of the insurance industry, I hired like thousands of people, went through so many interviews with people, and I built a way to hack that, because I just like, you know what, I don't want to hire one person at a time. Let's start hiring people in multiples, and then put them in jobs, see how they act, see how they react, see how they respond to the business, and see if they adapt well. And they did. We were able to get the good people out of those lists. So I did the exact same thing with outsourcing. Those are some things, you don't have to worry about all the rest there, but again, you're gonna get these notes too. So the other thing that you wanna do when you build a product, you don't wanna build a product and then launch the next day. You don't wanna build a product, I'm gonna tell you what not to do. You don't wanna build a product and be, sure, talk to all the JVs, let them know I've got something brewing, this is really cool, I've been building this for a while, I think you're gonna love it, I think you're gonna dig it. But then figure out like, tell them I don't have a date, I'm sorry, I wanna give you review access, I don't have a date yet. Do not even put a date until you're done with your marketing message. Do not put a date until your product is ready to give it to people, okay? So 4 to 6 weeks prior, it's just important. You'll actually get yourself in trouble with a lot of JVs. You'll actually not recruit a lot of JVs because your sales message wasn't done and also your product wasn't done. But earlier we talked about how do you want to make sure it's done? We want to outsource it all. Just outsource it all. Someone on Upwork, you can find people in the Philippines, India, Malaysia, all over the world. I have people all over the world working for my company, and we have people locally as well. So we have a little bit of a mix and diversity of both. Make sure to have it with JV review pages. Make sure you support it. So before, during, and after your launch, make sure you have support. I'm in my support all the time. I want to know, like, what are my customers struggling with? You know how much information I can dig out from just support? You can build a product, build it lean. We'll talk about that here. Do a beta release before your launch. Give it away. Give it to your friends. Give it to your JVs, obviously, as well. Or have an internal pre-launch. We just did it recently. We have a couple of our customers here as well, where we did an internal pre-launch with our product, and we kind of launched it lean. We'd already been building it for quite some time, but we wanted to test. We wanted to see if they had a market for it. So this is a good way to do it. Launch lean, and I did like a pre-order. We did like a pre-order. It's like, Star Wars 15 is coming out, right? And let's just do a pre-order right now. Star Wars 15 is coming out, but they haven't even filmed the whole movie yet. So that's basically what we did, is we had a product that we built that was almost ready, and we pre-sold it, and we sold I think we did 50 units in 5 minutes, like that. And immediately knew we had a market for it right then and there. We knew we had a market, but we just wanted to make sure. So you launch lean. It's called MVP. Anybody heard of the MVP model? Minimum viable product, right? So you want to have a minimum viable product before you launch, because you want to test the market. Guys, I launched that other product, Now Driven. I didn't really do a test. I didn't really find out that I didn't have a market. Okay, I was actually offering it to insurance agents, and they love it. But the internet marketing world didn't love it. So I spent 2 years in development. I spent all this time, all this money. I put like over $20,000 just to develop it, and it never really quite got there, right? So I didn't realize that I didn't have that market yet. Then take advice, right? We're talking about support. Take advice from your beta users and future customers, and then build what they want. Don't build necessarily what you want. Build what they want. Understand their struggles, their pain points in their business, and then build exactly what they want. And then, what's it say? Oh yeah, test your sales pages, okay? Before you go live. And make sure you're not on a shared, it just depends. I mean, if you're trying to do a big launch, you don't necessarily want to be on shared WordPress hosting, because your server could potentially melt up and nobody can hit your sites. And test your buy buttons. Make sure your buy buttons are working. Make sure that they're working where your JVs get paid and you get paid as well, because it'll kill your launch. All right, so I went over the first two things, which the first one was what? Oh, sorry, I went over the first thing only. I'm going to go to the second one now. So the first one is build a product. Understand your market. Create a product that fits that market. Launch lean and test. That's pretty simple. It seems hard. It might seem hard. The first time might seem hard, right? Just like riding a bicycle. First time you do something, it's hard. But the next time you do it, it gets a little bit easier. The next time you do it, it gets even easier. When you outsource to people that have done it, it's really easy, because you're just doing management meetings and overseeing and making sure they're following the idea, the dream, and the wireframes. That first part where we talked about wireframes, so important to do. The better you have wireframes out for people, the easier it's going to be. What wireframe is? Basically, what a wireframe is there's a thing called UI, user interface. Okay, that's like when you go and you log into Techademics. Once you log in, that's a user interface. That user interface, I know it's a little bit technical again, but it's the customer's point of view, okay? So you want to build those pages that's going to increase, the customer is going to be easy for them to scroll around. It's easy for them to click on the buttons. That's something that you hire a designer to do for you. And then you just kind of overlook and say, can you move these buttons over here? Can you move these buttons over there? And you can do a really light minimum viable product for yourself utilizing a UI software. And then you could go to Upwork and say, hey, I'm looking for a graphic designer that knows UI and wants to help our customers' experience. Okay, we put that on there, and boom, you're gonna find 15, 20, 30 immediate people you can start interviewing right away. You can do boom again, hire 3 or 4 or 5 of them, see who's got the best, look at what they're doing, spend some time doing it. But then once you do it, it's not that hard, okay? Once you have a good guy on your team, then you could go back to him for part 2, part 3, part 4, right? All right, so let's talk about crafting. I say crafting a high converting offer because what I think doesn't necessarily convert. And sometimes whenever I put something out there, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so good, it's gonna crush, it's gonna do so good, and then it doesn't, right? It doesn't because I'm not speaking to my audience that well. And again, talking about outsourcing, you can outsource this stuff out completely. So the first thing you wanna make sure you have on a high converting offer is you wanna make sure that you are starting with a micro commitment, okay? You guys ever heard of the freemium line? You know what the freemium line is? The freemium line is an offer that is free in the front end of the offer, okay? And I'm gonna go over these acronyms here in a minute too. And again, like I said, some of this might seem a little bit technical, but don't worry, it's a process. Just let it soak in today. If it's new to you, it will come in and it will converse, okay? And you will have these notes. So start with a micro commitment. What is a micro commitment? Why is it micro? Because it's easy, okay? I'm trading something for it though. I'm trading an email, or I'm trading a pixel, or I'm trading something to get that micro commitment. And if I'm trading $1, what did I just make someone do? I had to reach in my pocket, I had to grab my credit card, and I had to type it into the computer. That's still a micro commitment, but something magical happens. As soon as you pull out your wallet and you start paying for something, something very magical happens. And it's just as magical as going to the grocery store and adding those extra chips into your basket. It's just as magical as adding the candy in the aisle or the Inquirer in the aisle because something caught your eye. There's headlines and stuff. By the way, Inquirer has the best headlines in the world. I don't read it, but I look at those headlines, I'm like, geez. So anyway, because of that, because this is conditioned, right? It's conditioned me to start looking at things as a marketer versus looking at things as a buyer, okay? Start looking at things, start conditioning yourself to look at these things as a marketer. And then must have a market. So like we said, JVZoo, ClickBank, Warrior Plus, ClickBetter, ClickSure. There's many others out there. There's a huge, those markets are small too, compared to like the actual vast majority of everything. I went to an event called Affiliate Summit. They have East and the West. They had 10,000 marketers there. It's made me realize like our events would have like 500, you know? So I would think that like, wow, this is a huge another market I'm not even aware of out there. And then, so like I said, try to figure out those niches. So we've got like the software niche. Software niche could hit so many things. It could be e-commerce. It could be even info-based. It could be memberships. It could be all kinds of stuff. Info, which is information. Like I said earlier, you could take all of your videos that you've made and you can transcribe them, put them under lock and key, and then give them away for free or sell them for $1. Okay, get people to open up their wallet. Then you have make money online. That's what MMO stands for. And then you also have BizOp, business opportunity, and then you have multi-level marketing. Those are really kind of the main ones, but again, there's others. So have you guys ever heard of the value ladder? Anybody here heard of the value ladder? Great, great. So yeah, the value ladder is how you want to build your high converting offer. You want to start with what I wrote here pre-launch, but that could be your freemium model. Okay, it could be your beta release. I know I was talking to Peter, and he was saying that a lot of these videos are going to be like access for everybody to use as a lead magnet of some sort. So basically, that's what this would be in Techademics. Would be like this. These are your lead magnets. You could test all these different lead magnets out, see which ones are going to convert the best, continue to go after those targets, and push traffic there. But remember earlier I said you want to start with the end in mind? This is an ascending ladder. As you go up the steps, the price points increase. I didn't put money signs on there, but the price points, but we put gold at the end. So you've got coaching, which is like high-level coaching, and those are like anywhere from $25,000 to $100,000 for high-level coaching. That is more of a done for you or done with you type of model. Then you have event, which again, these could be different things. Could be another type of a coaching event or something. But you have event where you have people come together. Then you have a thing, I'm going backwards by the way. Then you have back end. Has anybody heard of back end? Cool, a few of you. Don't worry, again, these things are going to soak in. Back end is an offer that you offer after you purchase something. So have you guys been on let's say you bought something online and then you went through their funnel, okay? You went through their funnel and then a few days later they had a webinar that they showed you something that was a little bit better or it complemented what they've just purchased, right? And the thing is with upsells, so then you have launch, which we'll go into. That part right there we're going to really dive into is the launch part because that's what this is specific to. Which is your funnel. So we'll talk about that. So here's what a funnel looks like. You got your unique USP, your unique selling proposition, which is your solution to your major problem or the fastest way to learn something. Or it also, again, like it's a pain to a pleasure point. And then your high converting offer looks like this. You have a FE, which is a front end offer. That's usually your micro commitment. Anywhere from $27 all the way to $67. You guys have seen all those offers when they come out, right? Then you also have what's called an OTO. Does anybody know what an OTO is? One-time offer. One-time offer. So you have OTO 1, which is a one-time offer. Then you have OTO 2, which is a one-time offer number 2. Then you have OTO 3, which is the one-time offer 3. And if you notice, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, the price points continue to go up, just like that ascending ladder we showed earlier. And then we also have DS1 and DS3. Do you guys know what those are? Downsell, right? Oh, you didn't want that. Okay, I understand. Well, most people so our traffic's in the funnel. Once they're in the funnel, they've already opened up their wallet. That OTO1, they hit it, and let's say it's $97, and they're like, it's $97, but it seems like it would be really good, and I'm not sure. Nah, no thanks. They hit no thanks. All of a sudden, either a pop-up or another page comes open, and that page is the downsell. And the downsell will say, hey, wait a second. I totally understand that you're not ready for that. And that's totally okay. That's all right. What we have found that most of our people that have purchased blah, 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 whatever it is, they had found that these two features, so they strip out some of the features, they found out that these few features were worth their weight in gold and value. And if you agree, go ahead and purchase that right now. So that's just, off the cusp. But that's what a downsell is. It's going to cut it in half or cut some of the features out and lower the price. Again, lowering the pain of what it's going to cost me. The other thing that you're going to do, and I've actually tested this and it worked beautifully, was I did 3-pay and 2-pay options. Because if money is the objection, it's easier for you to test it out in the first month and then decide that you don't want it later on, or keep it, and continue to pay the monthly, contribution. Now the monthly contributions are going to be a little bit less, or a little bit more than if you purchased it all up at once, because you definitely want to, the people that are willing to go all in, basically, you want to go ahead and reward them as well. So that's what, you guys all know what FE and OTOs are now? I can't hear you. All right, there we go. All right, so that's correct pricing, low entry point to high value, and remember the front end needs to be some sort of micro commitment, getting people in, getting a lead. And I'm going to continue on this a little bit more, but not too much. This is just an example. Front end, all the acronyms are all done there for you. And there's where I showed payment plan, downsell 1 equals a payment plan for 2 or a 3-pay, offering the OTO. And then OTO 2 was a 97 or 297 price point. These are kind of like custom price points. And then downsell 2 was a payment plan or a partial offering for it, or even a continuity offer. Do you guys know what continuity is? It's monthly. Like you guys are like the people that are in the Dollar Shave Club. Every single month, you're paying them 97 bucks a month so you can have a brand new razor. Or the information, the brand new information that you're going to get that's cutting edge. Then OTO3, 97 to 497. Typically, you're not going to see, you guys, yesterday Tanner was joking with me. He's like, yeah, you know, Karl's funnels. I don't know if you guys caught it, but I caught it. He was talking about like, my funnels go forever. But they really don't. I mean, I'm showing you guys a typical model. There's other models you can follow with this. And I don't always follow this model either, but this has been the model that has seemed to work the best. There was a marketer, and I don't know if you guys ever seen, I won't say his name, but there was a marketer like 2 years ago that had this never-ending funnel. And it was like the joke of the internet. And there was like a guy that does a video where he's like laughing. He's like, okay, cool, upsell. And then he's like, yeah, I don't want it. And he's like, okay, cool. Oh, you know what? I want that. And he's like, yep, I'll take it. He's like recording himself as he goes through it. It's so funny. And then he gets to like number 5. He's like, no, I'm good. And then the next one he's like, like, it kept going. I mean, I'm not kidding. This funnel went to like 15 or 16 or something like that. And it was hilarious. It was actually hilarious. And that was definitely the never-ending funnel. Don't do that. All right. So a traditional, let me go back one more again. Your price points are based off of influence, okay? If you're brand new, I would suggest that you would start with something on the lower pricing end. Not necessarily always true, but if nobody knows you, why are they going to buy something from you? But once you start building more and people get to know you, like you, and trust you, well, then you can actually charge a little bit more. So I just wanted to go over that. So this is what it looks like if we were to kind of wireframe it. This could also be like a wireframe too. Like what is my funnel going to look like visually at a visual perspective or a bird's eye view. So you can see there, and this is also something that came up recently to keep urgency. You guys heard Chris earlier talk about urgency and scarcity. Yeah, you guys remember that? Cool. So you want to keep urgency and scarcity in your front-end offer during a launch. See, the launch idea that works so well for it, especially if you're trying to seed a company to just get it started, is it's like I'm giving you a deal on my software or my offering before it goes public. So you got to think of it like that, okay? So you have the front end, which is, have you guys, and probably never heard of this either, but a 3-phase launch, but you've seen it. You've seen where it says early bird special. They use the word early bird on it, first day, first 5 hours, first 6 hours, first 12 hours, whatever it might be. That early bird special is like a $29 offering. Then you can see I got D1, D3, and D5. You got day 1, day 3, and day 5. Or it could be day 7. Or it could be day 6, whatever it might be. But you have those prices that are going to continue to increase. They're real increases. So they are creating urgency and scarcity in the sales message during the launch. Okay, and the launches will go usually 5 days. I've seen 3 days, I've seen 4 days, but usually 5 to 7 days is when you're going to see a launch. Okay, that's typically how long a launch is going to last. And trust, I've been in launches that have lasted weeks, 2 weeks before. I've seen a launch last a month, but I can tell you that is hard work during that time because you're doing a lot of adjustments. You're doing a lot of stuff during that time. So 5 to 7 days on typical. And you could see a launch do anywhere from $20,000 to 1.4, $1.6 million. Just really depends if you have what we're going to talk about next. So make sure you have the dates, communicate number of days you're open, and if there are any plans for coupons. Make sure you have those coupons plans up front. Don't just figure them out during the launch. You want to communicate to your JVs. Do you guys know what JVs are? Affiliates. Basically, I don't know who came up with JV, but junior venture, they're not really putting money in, they're not venturing their capital into my company. So, but they are definitely their relationship capital. They're definitely bringing into the mix. So, I guess in that retrospect, it does work. So, building a high converting offer. So, build it with urgency and scarcity. So, early bird, increasing pricing phases, closeout or last day increase. So either at the end, on the last day, you're like, we're closing the doors. And you close the doors for 3 months if you want. Or we're increasing the price. And we can keep the price open, and we can do other things. Once you have Once you've done this, now you own a digital asset, no matter what. No matter, even if your launch was not even that successful or you didn't reach what you wanted to reach, it doesn't stop you from doing evergreen offers. You guys know what evergreen is? Evergreen is where it's always available and other affiliates can come on and give it to their list. A lot of affiliates, by the way, guys, they're looking for fillers. So there might be a day where a launch doesn't happen that they were planning on promoting and they push it back. Well, they were on board. Now they have to scramble to find something else to make sure that they're on board with. Let me get some water real quick, just to parched a little bit. So yeah, evergreen is basically your offer keeps going. So you can have like an end of the day price increase, that's it. You can do private promotions once you have a product out there. You can do these private promotions with other affiliates in your business, in your market, and they work great, guys. I did a launch last year. We did like right around $240,000 around this time last year. That product has now done over 1.4 million. That didn't all come from the launch. That came from doing private promotions with other marketers, okay? We had a proven model, we had a proven product. Now we could go to marketers and say, hey, check this out. We have these conversion rates. We have this product. Your list is going to love it because I know this is what you guys are into. You guys are into e-com. Let's just set up a private promotion. Let's do a webinar. Let's talk about the benefits of owning our product to your list, to your subscriber base, and let's see if we can convert for you. Now look, we did, this other company, this other JV, we did $150,000. They made $75,000 during our launch. They crushed it. They made all this bonus money. They're very motivated by money. So you just show them the numbers, and they're going to be on board eventually. Even if they're not on board the first time, that's okay. Knock on their door another day, or try to schedule something in their schedule. Let's see here. Have a remarketing plan. So Chris talks about creating a pixel and having a remarketing plan to your non-buyers. You guys want to know how to do that? Yeah. So all this traffic, okay, you have a launch and your site hits, I've seen sites get, 14,000 clicks in 5 days, and I've seen sites get almost 100,000 clicks in 5 days. That's a lot of clicks. That's a lot of traffic that hit my site and left. So how can I maximize that traffic? Well, have you guys ever heard of the accept option in your Facebook ads? Have you ever seen the accept? You can market, you can take your pixel, you can market directly to everybody that's hit that page, but you can take a remarketing pixel, or a remarketing pixel, or a conversion pixel on your OTO1. So you have your OTO, you have your front end, and you have your retargeting, remarketing pixel, and on your OTO1, you have your conversion pixel. All those people that are pixeled on the conversion pixel, you put them as an accept on your ads that go out, okay? And on the last 2 days of your launch, you give them a coupon. It's simple. And now all those people that literally were on your site, you're not going to waste all of them. And also, use naked, you guys don't know what this is, but use naked links. Do you guys know what naked links are? Well, they got to take off their jacket. No, I'm just kidding. What naked links are is basically just a straight URL link to it. So I'm not using my affiliate link or anything like that, because every time you use your affiliate link, there's this thing called a cookie. Okay, and what that cookie is, and it's not cookies that we eat, it's a cookie that's on your browser, and that cookie is dropped on your browser, and that's what follows you around. So if you're looking at engagement rings and you start going to Facebook and you start going to Google and stuff like that, you start seeing these engagement rings constantly hitting you, or you're on your wife's computer, or girlfriend's computer, and you see engagement rings, you're going to be like, "What? I know what she's thinking," right? So that's what a cookie does, and you basically you're staying away from your affiliates. So you're actually helping your affiliates make more money by doing this. So when they get retargeted back in, our last launch, it wasn't a huge launch, but it did create almost $3,000 in retargeting money that would have never been there if we didn't actually just implement that one small little step, okay? And if that launch would have done bigger numbers than what we would have definitely were hoping it was going to do, it could have definitely done like 15, 20,000. We've done it where it's done $20,000 in sales just by adding that, just by doing that one little thing. So simple. And you make more money, and it increases your conversion rates. It makes you look good. All right, so build a high converting offer. Traditional, so we'll talk, we talked about price points on your offer. JV Zoo funnels, and what I mean funnel is I mean the front end, all the OTOs, all the down sales have at least $200 in total sales up to $1,000. Remember, and if you guys remember earlier, we talked about how that is depending on your influence. So if you're known, you can charge more. If you're not known, you want to start off around the $200 range. And you can pay 40% to 100% to your JVs, okay? Why would you want to do that? Well, if nobody knows me, that's one way, because I'm giving my JVs incentive to promote for me. Each spot, each page doesn't necessarily have to be a 40% commission or a 50% commission or 100% commission, but I could have just the front end pay 100% commission. And if I'm thinking, what's my desired outcome? My desired outcome is leads. If my desired outcome is leads, it's not about making money at this point. It's about filling a webinar or something like that behind it. So if I go out to JVs and say, hey, it's 100% funnel, actually there's one guy I know, he did a 500% funnel. Do you think he got a lot of leads? But he knew, he already had the matrix figured out that it was a lost leader in the front end. You guys hear this a lot in the e-com world, that lost leader in the front. You guys heard that before? No? Okay, cool. I'll explain that real quickly. A lost leader is where you actually lose money in that front offer. But it's not about that. It's about getting a customer, building a relationship, gaining trust, and selling them something else. You guys ever heard of, his name's Kennedy, he's the famous copywriter, Dan Kennedy? Cool. Yeah, so Dan Kennedy says a buyer's a buyer's a buyer's a buyer. And it's so true. That's what happens when someone goes on your list. They want to buy, once they get to know, like, and trust you, they will continue to buy more stuff from you. And if you back it up with quality, back it up with service, back it up with support, they're going to want to buy from you, okay? So that's kind of how the funnel pricing would work, and a little bit more explanation as well. Let's see here. Okay, earlier we talked about outsource everything, right? Yeah. Everything. Are you guys good copywriters? No. Oh, damn, I was looking for my next copywriter. All right, hire your copywriters, okay? Outsource it. There's tons of copywriters. I can tell you of one you can go to. His name's Karl. He's got the Cult of Copy. It's a Facebook fan page. Go like it. Go be a part of it. He has a job board there. You can hire copywriters right from that site. You don't need to know copy, okay? Copywriters will do things like they will write your video sales letters. They will write your email swipe or copy. They will also even write your Facebook ads, and they also write your copy on your sales page for you. Their cost is depending on how well they're known. Their cost is depend on, and you also do get what you pay for, but $2,000 to $20,000, okay? I mean, if you're going to hire Dan Kennedy, he's like $125,000. And you don't even know if it's not guaranteed that they're going to convert, but they're going to do a lot better of a job than you're going to do. They're going to do a lot better job than I'm going to do. Split test. Oh, no, yeah, hire a pro designer. A pro designer, do you guys know HTML code? Got some people that do. You do? Cool. So hire her, and I'm just kidding. Just joking. Got to have fun with it. So yeah, you basically want to hire a designer, $500 to $5,000. There's good ones. I mean, you can get a good. I have a designer that I use. She's in Israel, and she charges me $1,000 for the whole funnel and the JV page. So it tells you they're out there. There's deals out there. For me, that's a deal because I don't have to do it. I don't spend the time doing it, and she's really good at it. That's what she loves doing. Split test. You guys know what split testing is? A/B split test. Okay, let's talk about the things that you should split test with your offers. You have all this traffic hitting your sites day 1, day 2, day 3. Split test day 1, have a split testing plan in day 1, and that split testing plan is split test your headlines, split test timers, and some slight changes, okay? Some slight changes and variations. Guys, I've seen offers have anywhere from a 4% to a 20% conversion rate on the front end just by doing this. And most of your copywriters will write the headlines for you knowing you're going to want split tests. They'll write 3 or 4 or 5. Easily write those for you. The headline is the the number one thing. There's a thing on the site when you're looking, when you hit a page, there's a thing called above the fold. And above the fold is literally what you see, okay? Above the fold is what you see visually before you decide, nah, it's not for me, or yes, I'm intrigued. I've got curiosity. I'm interested in what's going on here. So that headline has to be powerful, and it has to hit me from a psychological and a unconscious level, okay? I'm not good at that, but the copywriters are good. So I will actually split test the headlines, massive increases, and it makes your JVs extremely happy. If you have a higher converting offer, they're going to tell their friends about it because they're making money and they want their friends to make money as well. Remember, you get what you paid for. Make sure you have this done again 4 to 6 weeks out before you actually launch on your date and you close it. Use any technology you can to help your sales out. One technology we use is intercom. There's a bunch out there. There's like Talk to Me, I think, is free. It's a company called Talk to Me. Do you guys know what intercom is? Nope? Okay, cool, man. There's a lot of stuff you guys are learning today. So the intercom is a piece of software. You've seen when you're on a site and a little thing pops up and it says, hey, three people are here. If you have any questions, you know, we've got a chat line open right now. You guys seen that before? Yeah, it's usually on the bottom right-hand corner. There's a little tablet, and it'll make a little bloop, bloop noise, and like some people will pop up on it, right? And it can say whatever you want it to say. It could say, we're out, you know, out of the office currently, but leave an email with your question, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So that'll hit. It's a great way to overcome objections to sales while people are on your sales page. So I like to use technology as much as I possibly can. So that's one thing that I recommend doing. And then you use that as your support channel as well. So people have support issues, questions, they're going to be tapped into intercom as well. All right, so that part's done. Did I just hit you guys with the fire hose? I apologize for that, but that's okay, right? We're here to learn. So next thing is you've got an awesome product, got a dope product, and then you also have an awesome high converting funnel. You've probably tested it inside of your your own list as well. The next thing I'm going to leave you guys with, so I don't over-inundate you too much, this is the fun part, I think, which is the recruiting JVs. This is a relationship business. Launching products, write that down. This is a relationship business. Recruiting JVs, more than anything. I've seen products that didn't look that cool and weren't that cool do very big things, big numbers. I've seen products that were really cool, did a lot of cool stuff, and didn't have the numbers that they should have deserved because it's built on a relationship. I use this method. It's called the top, middle, down. What I do is I make a list. Okay, I've been telling you, I'm going to share with you guys where you can find these lists too. I make a list of all the JVs that are offering products currently. If they're selling a product, I'm going to go ahead and show them, or I'm going to go ahead and get on their list. I'm going to follow what they do, and I'm going to watch their leaderboards. So I'm going to build my ideal JV list based off of my product because I know that they're going to fit, their angles are going to fit really well with my product offering when we launch it. Okay, so if I'm in e-com, I'm going to start targeting e-com people. If I'm in info, I'm going to start targeting info. If I'm in video, I'm going to start targeting video. You know, whatever if I'm in Facebook marketing, I'm going to start targeting Facebook marketers. Then I'm going to think about what are the angles outside of that sphere of influence, okay? I'm going to go outside of the sphere of influence, and I'm going to say, who are these people where we can angle them into our offer, okay? Are you guys getting this too? Are you guys liking this? All right, I just want to make sure. I know it's a lot. Sometimes it can seem like a lot, but it's not. It's actually real simple. It's just these 3 things. You focus on them. Once you get them and you digest them, then you start implementing them with that speed of implementation. So then you have events. Where can you meet people? What's one of the best places to meet people? We're all here, right? The other best place is masterminds. A lot of amazing relationships come out of masterminds as well. Business ventures, business deals, inside and outside of the business that you even came there for, happen from masterminds. And then also hold launch contest. Hold launch contest. This launch contest thing is something that JVs, they just feed off of. Like they want to be on the leaderboard. It's bragging rights for them. They want to beat, once you get good JVs on your leaderboard during a launch, you can egg them on a little bit and say, hey man, I noticed, you know, John Stewart over here, he's outproducing you, but he's only down by like 4 or 5 sales. You know, where are you at? Are you going to come back in here and show us some love, or are you out? You know, just kind of egg them on a little bit. Launch list directories. Do you guys know of any launch list directories? Muncheye.com. Muncheye, MUNCHEYE.com. It's my good friend, his name's Chris Munch. He owns that site, and that is probably the #1 launch list directory. Muncheye.com. Yeah, no problem. So muncheye.com is a directory of all the launches coming up. And you can go there and you can join the JV pages. You can go there and give them your email address and start seeing what are the messages they're selling, what is the products that they're offering, and just pay attention. Especially if you're trying to comb for some ideas of where the markets are at, it's a great place to go. Build a JV sales page. So you want to have a page that JVs can go to. JVs are lazy, by the way. Okay? They're lazy. They want everything done for them. So you do it for them. Because they're really, and you know, it's not just that they're lazy. They're busy. Honestly, they're busy building their own products. They're busy doing their own stuff, and they're using their resources to do that. So the more that you've done for them, the easier it is for them to come in and send a couple email and see what happens. So you want to have a JV page. You want to make sure you have all your email swipe copy written. You want to have a demo video of your product so they can see it in action. They need to have a way to contact you. All that stuff is going to be on that JV page. Couple things that you can do as well, and you guys, it's like another step forward into it, but it's done-for-you bonuses. So we'll make a product, and then we'll make done-for-you bonuses. And they could be simple stuff. They could be as easy as templates. They could be easy as graphics and icons. They could be easy as video, or not videos, but audios. So like sound bites and audios that you can buy licensing for. It could be PLR. Do you guys know what PLR is? Private label rights, where you buy the rights to basically own it, and then or some of it you can recreate. You just got to make sure you look in the rights or in the licensing of it. Facebook Messenger app. This Facebook Messenger app has made me more money than anything because of this business. It is the best. Guys, I got a hold of Chris Record through Facebook Messenger app. Back in the day, we used to have these hardcore cold calling rooms, right? Boiler rooms, they used to call them. Well, now it's the Messenger app. That's the new boiler room. You got to embrace it. Embrace that thing. And then also Skype, because there are some JVs that are still afraid of Facebook Messenger and Facebook for whatever reason. They're living in like Malta, where there's like nothing, like they're not going to be in trouble. But they're still scared of it for whatever reason. And then you have Skype groups. You also have Facebook groups. I don't know why I didn't put it up there. I don't think I did. Yeah. You also have Facebook groups as well. There's a lot of really good Facebook groups out there for all of these different affiliate type of products and affiliates that you want to go where the people are, right? You got to target them. You target where they're at, the people that are interested in your type of products, target where they're at, and then find out a way to get in front of them. So we talked about this, tracking leaderboards. Start messaging them. I mean, it's kind of cool if you make a leaderboard and someone sends you a message and says, hey man, I noticed you made so-and-so's leaderboard. That was pretty cool. Because you want to start that relationship. You want to break the ice, right? You got to break the ice with people. They don't know who you are. They're getting hit by people all day. But if you compliment them, they might remember you. The other thing you can do is when you're on their sales pages or anything like that and you see something that needs to be fixed, and I've got big marketer friends I was friends with before I even knew them, I was saying, hey dude, you got a glitch on your site. Just want to let you know. It's subtle, right? It's those little subtle things. Because they will grow. Those little seeds that you plant now will grow into something amazing later on. So definitely make sure you just reach out to them, use that Facebook Messenger app. Befriend JVs. Break the ice, befriend them. Send launch gifts. Have you ever seen that done before? Yeah. So Chris, when I worked with Chris, he would get launch gifts all the time. And most of the time they worked. He would get a really nice gift, and then he felt compelled. There's a law of reciprocity. You guys ever heard of that? It's in it's in which book? It's the 6 Principles of Influence by Robert Delcini, and it's another one of my favorite books. It's basically the law of reciprocity, and it's unexpected reciprocity, really. Reciprocity means that if I give you something of value, subconsciously you want to give something back to me. So that's what happens when you send JV gifts to JVs. It doesn't always work, but if you can send a gift, make sure it's personalized to them. If you do it, it'll go further. And then have those large cash contests. Buy ads. Okay, here's another way. Buy ads in directories and fan pages. Muncheye does have an ad directory. You can buy ads and put them in there. You're going to be plastered all over the place every single time a JV hits there, and everybody that's a JV, they know where that is. So we've got a few other directories I put up there. We've got Muncheye, we've got JV Notifier Pro, and we also have JV Zoo. Inside of JV Zoo, and there's more, but JV Zoo actually now allows you to do ads inside of their platform. Then we put reciprocity, reciprocate. Reciprocate means just if you have a list, go and push for them. You know, see if you feel like you can make their leaderboard, push for them. They might not even know who you are, but they're gonna be like, where did this guy? Who is this guy? You know how many times I've seen leaderboards where we're scratching our head, we're like, who is this guy? Like we have to contact this guy and see what, you know, first off, I want to make sure he's legit. And then also, how is he doing it? Like, we don't know who he is. And it's beautiful because then you create that was like the best way. You just got them to contact you versus the other way around, versus you constantly knocking on their door. So it's just a different way to do it. Make their leaderboards. Stick out with your JV message. We just recently did a video shoot. We hired a professional cinematographer, audio crew. I mean, it was like making a movie. We turned it into a production. Why did we do that? Well, because we want to stick out. We want to stick out in our market. Huge cash contests. And then these are kind of the typical contests that you see. You'll see the speed. The speed contest is like the first to 25, the first to 35, the first to 50, the first to 100, the first to 150. Okay, that's the speed, the first two. And the thing about speed, if you're a JV, you're like, how many of those can I lock up? If I am the first one to hit first to 25, then I could be the next one to hit the next one. You could lock up the whole speed contest if you're good and you're going there with a good plan. The other one is the overall, so it's like how everything does overall, the whole launch numbers-wise. And then we also have the pre-launch contest as well, which is more of like a leads contest. It's a little bit different. I didn't really show you guys that. We showed you the value ladder extension too with a pre-launch concept, but a pre-launch concept is where you have a kickoff webinar because a lot of your JVs may not be able to promote for you during the launch, but you might be able to talk them into, hey, you know, I've got 5 case studies that all are pertaining to things on your list. You just email these case studies at, and they'll automatically be enrolled to our webinar, and they'll be cookied with your link. And on that day, we'll have the webinar, and whoever makes sales on that day, you will get all of that recognition without having to promote the launch at all. And you'll get a ton of leads that way. The other thing is hire someone like me. I'm not a JV manager for sale anymore, but for sale. I was renting out my liver, only the back half. So yeah, the JV manager is a good thing to have, JV broker. The other thing you could do is partner with someone that's well known. Like you might have, like partnerships in this work so good. You might have a software already that you've been developing or you have the idea for, and you put it on paper and you've already started building it, but you don't have the reach. Partner with someone that has the reach. Give them partnership access, 50%, whatever, because you're trying to build a list. Ultimately, we just want to build a list. So I would partner with someone that's a well-known person in the industry, and you can get you can have a huge launch. Some of these partners will they have a lot of pride in their marketing, so they'll actually do all the copy for you. They'll do all the sales messages for you. They'll do almost everything for you. You just help support it. You also, on the sales page, you get recognition as well. Really a cool thing. Have JV review access. JV review access is one of those things where, you know, when it comes to software, it's not necessarily something you should give to everybody, but you can give them a limited account when it falls, you know, when the account falls out. And then I'm almost done too, guys. But you have the limited account, and then also you have the you have your higher up JVs where you'll just give them access. Okay. And always be recruiting. All right, so this concludes the 3 keys to a successful launch. Definitely hope you guys got a lot of information on that. I have the bit.ly links up there. So we've got the bit.ly bit.ly/3JVKeys. And then we have the other one that's the bit.ly/3launchkeys keys doc. So you have the doc and you have all of these notes. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you guys got a lot out of it.